There's a small delay.
Welcome to the MLM Solution Podcast Show, where you'll learn the facts and hear the truth about the network marketing industry. Here's your host, Rob Cootie.
Good morning, Miss Marie. How you doing today?
Good morning, Rob. It is a glorious day here in Utah. We're getting a little bit of rain this morning, which is always exciting.
Yes, after the heat wave that all of us experience across the U.S., it is nice to get some rain. And we had the same thing last night. And again, this morning, the wife and I were sitting out on the front porch enjoying the beautiful calm and serenity as well. And I don't know if anybody pays attention, but the wonderful sound of rain hitting the trees and all of that. Very relaxing sound, something that we enjoy immensely while we're drinking our coffee with our 5 animals in our laps.
All vying for space, right?
All vying for space, yes. And one jealous of the other. So anyway, that's how we start our day each and every day. And that's something that really, and we wait for a woodpecker. Every day, this woodpecker, for whatever reason, comes to the top of the telephone pole across the street and does 8 or 9 pecks and then flies off every day.
Is that the Kentucky version of a rooster?
I have no idea what it is. I've never seen it before. And he takes off. We don't see him the rest of the day. So the wife and I were like, okay, we can't start our day until our pet woodpecker comes and does this thing. And sure enough, he'll come over and then off he goes. And we're like, okay, now we can start our day. Our day's complete. We're ready to go. Just like the gong, which I still have not had time to figure out why the thing. I'm going to have to uninstall the software and reinstall it, which leads me to today's subject. Today, we're going to have a fun subject. It's about how to build a successful business in today's virus environment. If you stay tuned, we're going to tell you what you need to do to protect yourself and all your prospects and your downline during this virus environment and still have a realistic chance of building a successful business. You don't want to miss this. So with that, we're going to get our show started with what? The artificial gong. Gong! There we go. All right. I promise I'll get that fixed over the next couple of days. I'm going to have to find a different gong or a different software to play that gong. I have no idea why it's not working. But who knows, right?
Well, technology is a wonderful thing when it works.
When it works, and why it works one time and not another, I have no clue. I did have some software updates on my computer, and I bet you that's what it is. I use a 27-inch iMac, and it gets updated quite a bit lately because of security issues, obviously. And I wonder if that's got a conflict with the software I was using to play the gong. Yeah, that's it right there.
Could be. It's
exactly what
one of those things. It's called a bug, right?
A bug. I'm not sure what it's called, but I guess in the spirit of being cordial, I will call it a bug. How's that? In private, I'll call it something else.
Well, I tell you what, bug has a long history in the computer industry. You know where that comes from, don't you?
I think it seems like I heard that because I was big in the computers.
Yeah, way back in the day with original big mainframe computers that would take up a whole room and used vacuum tubes and those types of things. They had a computer issue, and what it ended up being was an actual moth in the machine.
I did not know.
Yep, so that's where they get a bug in the system from.
Well, now there's a piece of history, ladies and gentlemen, that we did not know. I learned something. I bet a lot of you did as well. Thank you, Miss Marie. You must have been there when that happened.
I may have. Let's not go there.
I remember when computers first started coming in the military and they asked for volunteers to lay the LAN system and install the servers and all this and that. So a lot of us raised our hand and did that, and I'll be honest with you, I really didn't understand computers. I mean, I knew what they were and blah, 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 blah. But hey, it was something different and something fun to do. And so that's what we did. And that was interesting, setting up servers and all that, email servers, and you learn, the software. It was really quite simple because the software did most of the stuff, and all you had to do was connect the landlines. We'd run them through the ceilings, and we had those drop ceilings where those tiles, and we'd have to go, boy, it was a nasty, dirty job because, obviously there was dust in all those old buildings and nest and everything else. That was not fun. That part I didn't like. But, we ran those LAN systems, man, and they were straight. When we were in the military, we had straight wire. There was no server. There was no, how could you say, a modem. That's what I meant. Girl, it was fast. Bam. When you hit something, there was no hesitation. It was there. And when they asked for volunteers to maintain, because everybody was getting a computer. On every desk, there was a computer. Laptops were not an option at that time. And but they needed somebody to maintain those. And then they needed people to write software. So I raised my hand on both of those too. I was the computer guru guy of the section. And then I used software, Database 4, believe it or not. Anybody that's old enough to remember that, golly, you're my age. But we use database programs to write programs, And that was quite a interesting time in my life. And I did it for a while, but I'll be honest with you, got outnumbered because not everybody wants to deal with the problems of computers. So I stayed one person, but guess what? As computers became more popular and as the military began to really spreading throughout the different organizations, well, crap. I couldn't do my real job in the military because I was doing the computer job.
Well, and that computer industry, it's constant change, right? So not a lot of people are cut out for that either. Some people like to get into a rhythm, get into a groove, and be a quote unquote expert in what they're doing. And the computer industry, it's just changing all the time, making quantum leaps on a regular basis. So to keep up is a little bit challenging.
Yeah, you almost have to become a specialized software person. In other words, you deal with Oracle and become an expert in that, or you become an expert in Microsoft, or you become an expert in NetSuite. Whatever the case may be, you're almost going to have to pick a certain software line and pretty much stay with that and become an expert. Because if you try to do it all, you'll drive yourself crazy. I'm sure there's some geniuses out there that can put all that information in their head, but my head would explode. I couldn't do it. It was time. I was like, okay, this is enough. And I finally weeded myself off of it because even after I quit doing that, I had people calling me, hey, can you fix my computer? Can you figure out? Matter of fact, I got 2 laptops the other day from someone. Their daughter's laptop quit, and they gave me a bag of 2 laptops. Can you recommend one of these 2 for my daughter? Instead of going out and buying one, which is $300 nowadays for a really good one, not a great one, but a really good one that would, suffice for most people. He wants me to check these out. So, another thing on my plate, and it's a good friend. I really wanted to say no. And the wife goes, why in the world did you take those? I said, how do you say no to them? They're good friends and they'll take it personally. So, to them, it's quick. Oh, it's not a problem for Rob. Rob understands those things. It's like, oh my gosh, as if I don't have enough on my plate.
Yeah, not always as easy as flipping a switch, right?
Oh my gosh. And plus, look, I'm an Apple person. I have not dealt with PCs. I have a Dell downstairs that is now 3 years old. I bet I've used 5 times. It's still down there. It's brand spanking new. I haven't used it. I don't care to use it. To me, PCs are a piece of crap. You got to fight through. It's constantly updating. I got you got firewall software updates. It's just constant. And it sits there and the processors run all the time because it's trying to run all that stuff in the background. My Apple is as quiet as a mouse. You don't hear nothing running. Once it gets up and going, it's just in cruise control. Unless I do a big video editing, things like that. So as you can tell, I have no desire to work on computers.
They're a means to an end now for us rather than the goal itself, right?
Yeah, well, hey, I have, and not getting, we'll get to our subject here. This is a tablet that I've had there you go. For everybody on the video, I'm showing my tablet. I've had this tablet probably 6 years, 7 years. Samsung Galaxy tablet, I forget what model. You wouldn't believe the stuff I can do on that. I take that thing with me on the go, and if I'm sitting in an airport or something, I'm getting work done. If I need to create a video, I'm doing it right there, uploading it on YouTube, or I would do it live on YouTube. I edit it on YouTube and do all the titles, and bam. I mean, there's nothing that I can't do on this tablet that I can't do on my laptop.
Oh, but Rob, then we even have the power of the computer right in our little pocket, right? With our smartphones nowadays.
Yes, there is no doubt. I can do more on my phone than I can that tablet. There's no joke. I mean, I can do video. I can do everything on my phone, and I have a what is it? Oh, a Motorola. That's what I have. I used to be all Apple, and back in the day, the Apple cell phones were so small screen wise, and you can tell how long it's been since I had one. But we had iPhones for a long time, loved them. But the screens, I got older, my eyesight got worse. And the thing is that the screens were so small that when you use GPS, you had to move the screen around to see the total. I told the wife, I said, that's bullcrap. We're getting big screens. She said, I agree. So we went to Android because at that time, Apple refused to increase the size of their screens. And so we just went to Android and got bigger screens, went to Samsung. And back then they had those huge screens. They may still. But anyway, the point is that once we got hooked on Android, we're like, all right, we're not going back to Apple. Even though Apple's gone to bigger phones, we're just like, nah, hell. But everything I have is Apple outside of the phone. And I'm so happy with the Android that I have no desire to switch back to Apple. And I'm not anti-Apple, but at the same time, because I love the simplicity. And we're going to say this and then get going. But, when I remember when I went from PC, and of course, it's been 20-something years ago, close to 20. Anyway, when I went from PC to Apple or Macintosh, whatever you want to call it, computer, I was really afraid because all my business documents and all my important documents, well, guess what? Microsoft, right? And back then, they were just trying to incorporate Steve Jobs and Bill Gates were working together to try to make Microsoft software or the suite of documents, spreadsheets, all that compatible with Macs. And I know there were some glitches like there always is. But anyway, the point is, I was scared to death because, look, I had all these important documents and they were not compatible with an Apple computer at that time. And Google had not come out with their software, their platform where you get, Google Documents, et cetera, et cetera. So I was nervous as crap. And finally went out, bought a brand new white Apple laptop. It was called the MacBook. It wasn't a MacBook Pro, it was just a MacBook. And went out, bought that, and there was no looking back, and people say, oh, it's so hard to understand Apples. It's very simple. I mean, there's nothing to them. You just point and click. Oh, there you go. You teach a monkey to point and click. And it's amazing how people are very apprehensive. I was, obviously. How about you?
It's always the fear of the new and the different, right? Change can be difficult for people.
Well, if I couldn't open those documents, I was lost. I mean, I had a business to run. I had documents I had to keep up, and I just couldn't afford for it not to work. So, but yes, changes absolutely. So anyway, without further ado, let's talk about the subject, which is in the ticker today for those of you on the podcast. And it says building a successful business during the virus environment. All right, folks, look, you can't stop. You can't go over in the corner and suck your thumb and give up on your network marketing business, your future, your goals, your dreams, right? You have to find a way to continue moving forward. And the people that do move forward are going to be miles ahead of their peers who are, in fact, sitting at home doing nothing because they're basically convincing themselves they cannot get out and about. And we're going to touch on the different ways that you can go about safely. The way you can go about building your business in today's environment until the environment gets safe enough to where we all don't have to tiptoe around each other. And hopefully that day's coming. Hopefully all of you guys realize that this is a virus. It's just like a flu. It's going to be around. It's not going to go anywhere. If you live to be 1,000 years old, guess what? This virus is still going to be around. Is it going to be around on this level? I doubt it very seriously. I don't know if a lot of you guys know, but the quote unquote corona, this Wuhan virus came from Wuhan, China, out of a lab that was, it's a different strand. The Wuhan, what do they call it?
Coronavirus?
Corona, thank you. Virus has been around since the 60s. And I won't get into all the details, but you can check all that on the internet. But the thing is that, well, you got to watch out for fake news, obviously. But anyway, there's many doctors that have come out and said, as this thing has unfolded over the months, and said, well, we've worked on a different strand, not this strand. I think the 19 identifies this as the 19th strand. Is that correct? Is that
that I'm not sure. I don't know if it's the 19th strand or because it was identified in 2019. I'm not sure.
It could be either or, but it's a different strand. And but the coronavirus has been around for a long time. Unfortunately, this particular strand of the coronavirus was released. Whether it was accidentally on purpose, who knows? I'm not going to go there. But the bottom line is it was released, and unfortunately, we see what has happened now. And but I'm not going to act like a scientist because I am not a scientist. But I have done a lot of research on this, trying to figure out why this virus is so different and so wild compared to other viruses. It's not like viruses are not part of our daily lives. We've all, whether we recognize it or not, we've all gone through our lives exposed to many different types of viruses. And why this one here is so deadly and so contagious is really kind of strange, and it kind of fascinates me. So anyway, enough of that stuff, right? So you want to be safe, regardless of what we say or our input, our viewpoint. The bottom line is it's contagious. It can be dangerous to certain people, and we need to obviously protect ourselves because we don't know. Marie doesn't know. I don't know. And everybody else, no one can stand up and say that virus is not going to affect me. Okay. And I personally have seen it with a household. The husband was affected one way and the wife was in the hospital for 39 days and barely made it through. So, and they both had the virus. So there's a prime example of how it will affect someone. Why take the chance, right? Now, I'm not a fear monger. I don't get caught up in all this bull crap that's out there in the news. Here's the thing. I'm going to do the basics. I'm going to make sure that I maintain my 6 feet. I do believe in that. Switzerland does 3 feet, and they have a way that they only had 124 people pass away from the virus, and they only do 3 feet. But you know what? Who knows? Who cares? I don't care if it's 3 feet, 6 feet. I don't mind doing that. Now, this is not about me and the virus. This is about you being out there, building your business. What does it hurt to maintain 6 feet or 3 feet? You could sit at a table with someone, Marie, and prospect them, talk to them. If you want to wear a mask, that's fine. If you don't, let them sit on the left. You sit on the right. Don't sit directly across from each other because you're facing each other. And I don't know if I believe, because look, if you don't have the virus, you can talk all day long. You're not going to get infected, right? Either one of you.
Right.
And they still can't definitively tell you, Marie, if you speak at Rob, he's going to catch the virus or vice versa. Well, I've been tested. I'm negative. As far as you know, you're negative. Okay. Here's the thing. Marie and I get to sit there, nose to nose and talk to each other. If we're not infected, it doesn't matter. We're not going to get infected. Right. But how do we know that the table that we're sitting at, someone before us, unbeknownst to them, are in fact infected, hasn't shown the symptoms yet, and they left by touching the table, they may have left because they may have coughed in their hand and put their hand on the table. Marie and I don't know that. Marie and I know that we, individuals, can speak to one another without infecting each other, but we don't know what's on that table. And if the table wasn't wiped down, guess what? That could be a problem. Would you not agree, Marie?
Absolutely. And I think really it boils down to what a good friend of mine has said to her children all along, even before this virus came out: make healthy choices.
That's a very good point. And part of making healthy choices here, guys, here's what we're talking about. And we're not jumping ahead. Look, if you're going to meet someone one-on-one, if you're going to sit down with them, let them sit on the left or the right, and you sit at the head of the table, okay? Keep your mouths totally opposite of each other. In other words, a cross pass, if you will. But at the same time, make sure you take some little bottles of sanitizer, or even you want to carry it in your purse. I keep a little bottle in my pocket. I am not anal about germs, never have been, but I'm not being stupid. My point is, if I'm sitting there talking to Marie, we meet at Starbucks, and I ask Marie if she doesn't mind sitting on my right, and she's not going to sit right next to me on my right. I'm going to ask her to scoot down a little bit. I'm going to sit at the head of the table, or she can sit at the head of the table, and I can sit on the right. It doesn't matter. But the point is, we're having a cross hatch like this, okay, as we're sitting. At the same time, if I choose to wear a mask and Marie doesn't want to, that's fine, guys. Don't make your prospect wear a mask. But if they ask you to wear a mask, I would encourage you to comply, because you don't want to cause a divide between the two of you just because of a silly mask, all right? Now, here's the thing. You got the sanitizer. You can do your hands before you sit down, and then you do your hands after you sit down. You can actually share it with your prospect. And the point is, if you don't know if that table has been cleaned, and you want to make sure that as you walk away from that meeting, that you're walking away safely. And sanitizing your hands is a good place to start. If you are using any kind of materials, like you're doing maybe you have a folder that has a printout of a slide presentation, and you're showing that, whatever the case may be, however you build your business. Of course, we do it differently, but we're not going there. We're talking about you guys. Here's the thing. Make sure that you sanitize that as well. When you get in your car, take your sanitizer, put it on your hand, and wipe the back of your folder. If you're touching the plastic inserts that hold the paper presentation, clean those. If you use your credit card, like when I go to the grocery, I use, obviously like everybody else, my debit card, and I push on the buttons and put in my PIN. Well, other people have touched those. Again, not being anal, but at the same time, as she said, be safe. You know what? What her friend told her kids is absolutely right. Just use some common sense. Other people have touched that. And when I slide my card into that machine, it also is being exposed potentially. So I clean my credit card, I clean my wallet, I clean my car key. So that, because when I'm in the grocery, I'm touching all this stuff. I keep my hands away from my face. And when I reach my pocket to get my key, guess what? To start the car, I could be transferring what's on my hands on the key, on the wallet, on the card. So the only reason I tell you that is because if you're at Starbucks and I'm prospecting Marie, when I get done with that and I get in my car, I'm going to clean all of that, not to be anal, not to be fearful, not to panic, and not to be in a a panic mode, I guess you would say. And what do I call it? Have a phobia. To have a phobia about the whole thing, it's common sense. You're protecting Marie, who's my prospect, and I'm protecting myself, and I'm protecting the next person that I'm going to show that presentation to by cleaning those materials. Now, to me, that's common sense. Would you not agree, Marie?
Absolutely. And unfortunately, some days common sense just isn't quite so common. And honestly, what we're getting at here is the industry that we're in. It's very much a person-to-person interaction industry, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you go all the way back to the beginning of multi-level marketing, network marketing. You're talking the 50s, 60s. Mm-hmm. There weren't a lot of technological options. You met in person. You had home meetings. You had hotel events. The materials that you shared with people would be pamphlets, flyers, those types of things. As we progressed, we started taking advantage of technology. And I mean, the phone has always been an important part of the business, right?
Yes.
Communicating with people that way. But in terms of putting materials in their hands, we expanded into cassette tapes, CDs, DVDs, all those types of things. And now, welcome to the 21st century. We have this wonderful thing called the internet. We have video, we have YouTube, you have the ability to leverage technology in your presentations. But fundamentally, it is very much a person-to-person business.
Yes.
And you'll find the people that you work with, it's not always about the product. It's not always about the business opportunity. It's about the relationship you have with them and the fact that they want to work with you. Yeah. And finding a way to do that safely and staying healthy in this environment now with this virus going around is of utmost importance, of course.
Right. Absolutely. Well said. And guys, here's the other thing. Look, as she stated, you can use technology. Look, you have Zoom, you have webinar programs, you have Skype. I think there's one called One Conference Call or something like that. And these companies have been around a long time. And all of them allow you not only to do a one-on-one with Marie, like in this software here, we use StreamYard, STREAM Yard, StreamYard. And it can have multiple guests on here at the same time. And just like the other ones, what's the point? And then you can use presentations on this software as well. What's the point? Where are you getting that, Rob? Look, if you don't want to meet at Starbucks, if you don't feel comfortable getting out and about, you don't have to stop building your business. You can still contact prospects. And then when they say, hey, I would like to meet or whatever, or you prompt them to meet, you can use Zoom, you can use Skype, you can use StreamYard, you could use webinar programs to do a presentation online or to have a conversation like this. But the thing is, as she stated, it's still a person-to-person business. There's no way around that. Back when network marketing started and people only had phones, you have to realize you cannot compare, because some people say, well, I would just rather use phones and not use the video. I don't feel comfortable. I don't like the way I look in front of a camera. I totally get that. I think a lot of us get that. But here's the thing. Folks, people need to see your mannerisms. They need to see your face. It is such a bonding moment subconsciously that you can't replace that over the phone. I'd encourage you to put video number one. But if you're the type of person you say, I don't feel comfortable, my confidence in myself is not to where I feel comfortable in front of a video, I'd rather do it over the phone, that's fine. Just realize that you may have to go through more people to get the same results versus someone that's using a video. Okay, now here's the thing. It doesn't matter what technology, if the heart and the will is there, I promise you the phone will work. It's just going to take more work. Why? Because the trust is not there today. Think about all the robocalls people get. Think of all the scams that come across on phones. Think about the fact that phones are now mobile compared to when in the 60s and 70s when it was stationary. When you called somebody on the phone back in those days, they were typically at home or at work, one of the two. And you had their total undivided attention. People had an attention span back then. Today, people don't. Additionally, people are mobile. You could call them on their phone and they could be in the bathroom. You wouldn't know. You could call them and they could be on a plane. You could call them and they could be right in the middle of another meeting. You have no idea, because the phone is mobile nowadays, where they are when you make that call. Okay, versus scheduling a video conference like this, once again, which is today's phone, which means that they literally have to sit down in front of their computer or their device, okay, and stand still. Obviously, they can be on the go with a mobile device on a video call, but if they don't want it shaking all over the place, and if they don't want that, guess what? They're going to have to take the time to do what? To sit down and hold their phone up where they can see you and you can see them, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what does that mean? You have their total undivided attention, once again, like the phone of the old days. That is another powerful thing about using this teleconferencing software versus making a phone call. People are very leery about you. You fall in, guess what, whether you like it or not. If you don't know these people, you fall in the scammy category. Do you not, Marie?
Well, and I would say the phone nowadays, it has changed as a tool as well. Before the internet, the network marketing MLM business, when you were making phone calls, you were more likely to have people answer the phone. Nowadays, because of the smartphone and caller ID, and it's all right in the palm of your hand, most people don't answer their phones. So if you're using a phone calling methodology, especially if you're cold calling, you have got to have a really good voice message available to you that will get them to call you back. or to recognize your number the next time you call and actually choose to answer it. I don't know about you, Rob, but even me personally, if my phone rings and it's not a number I recognize, I let it go to voicemail.
Absolutely. No doubt.
Especially because oftentimes it's an interruption in my day and whatever I'm doing, I'm not expecting a call. I don't want to get the telemarketer calls that come through. So even though those do not call lists are out there, somehow those telemarketers still get through. So
right.
The phone can really be a struggle nowadays. And for the younger generation, a lot of the 20, 30 somethings, they don't like talking on the phone. They'll refuse to talk on the phone. If you're not Snapchatting or texting or FaceTiming some sort of video communication, you're not going to get to them at all.
Absolutely. And that's a very good point. And thank you for bringing it up, because you nailed it. That's exactly what's going on. I had my granddaughters, as I said the other day, over here for 6 days. And my gosh, TikTok, Snapchat, I mean, they were on all that. FaceTime. My granddaughter won't hardly talk to me unless I FaceTime her. Or one of them, I should say. The other one, she'll actually, but they won't answer the phone. If I don't text them or FaceTime them, I can't hardly get a hold of them. So that is a very well put point, and I'm glad you brought that up. So folks, we're touching on some very important points here about what type of technology you need to use to get the undivided attention of your prospects. Okay. So what you're hearing here is that we're encouraging you to utilize a teleconferencing software, once again, like Zoom, like Skype, like webinar programs, StreamYard. You can use YouTube. I think YouTube will do pretty much what all these other ones will do as well. But there's some limitations on the YouTube live format, which I don't want to get into here. So, but at least you can check into it, right? Now, the thing is that you say, okay, that's one way that we could use technology. Now, we've talked 2 ways that you can continue to build your business. You can still meet people in person. Be prepared to wear a mask. Be prepared to sit in an L shape, one person at the end of the table, the other one on the right or the left, a few feet away, where they can still see you, whatever the case may be. If you go outside, once again, let's go back to Starbucks. If you go outside, you have the wind, you have other things, other factors that can make people feel more comfortable about not wearing a mask. And if you're sitting at a table, the table you typically for 2, it's big enough to where you're away from one another, and you can scoot back a little bit more as well. There again, why outside? Because some people feel really kind of claustrophobic and paranoid about being in quote unquote Starbucks lobby, even if Marie and I are sitting apart from one another and in an L shape, in a cross pattern, if you will. Marie might say, well, you know what? I don't feel comfortable with all these other people in here. Do you mind if we sit outside? Once again, yeah, that's great. A lot of people are going outside when they go to restaurants and all that, and they'll sit outside to get away from the inside. I totally get it. And once again, you can make them comfortable, and you'll have their undivided attention by meeting their needs or their request. So we've talked about 2 ways now that you can meet them, in person or using the teleconferencing software, where it's the next best thing. And there again, why do you want to do that? Because you want them to hear your voice. You want them to see your body mannerisms. You want the confidence. Okay, when you look them in the eye and they see that you're committed, they see that you know and understand what you're doing, that body language is powerful. Okay, because look, when I sit there with people and I talk to them and I tell them that music to the ears message, and I'm looking them right in the eye, there's a certain amount of confidence that comes across that they're like, this guy's serious. This guy really knows what he's doing. This guy is focused on what he's doing. He is looking for partners to join him in this venture. Okay, all of that comes across. And you know what? I'm not fidgeting in my seat. Now, this is not practice stuff. You know what? When I'm focused and I'm really motivated and I'm building a business, folks, I don't need to fidget in my seat, because I'm telling the truth. I'm committed to what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I know how to do it, and I need to get it done now. Okay. So when I meet with them, I'm going to tell you all of that comes across through my body language, because my body language is reinforcing what I'm saying to them. And when I'm looking them in the eye, I don't do that because, you're taught to look people in the eye, which I was, but I'm looking them in the eye because I'm evaluating their body language. I'm evaluating their eyes. It's not because I'm trying to intimidate them. It's not because I'm trying to project confidence through my eyes. I'm watching their body language. I'm watching whether they're fidgeting. I'm watching whether they're slumping. I'm watching their words. I'm watching their eyes, because you know what? They can say something with their mouth, but that doesn't mean that's what they mean. So I fill out with every prospect that I met, I filled out a scale of ambition sheet. And I would put on the back of that scale of ambition sheet, I print it out, and my printer prints out on the front and the back. Back in the old days, I had a copy. I had to use a copier in the front and back. But the point is that I would sit there and I would, as I left Marie and we were at Starbucks, I would mark on the front, Marie is 7 or 7.5. Okay. There's real potential here. On the back, I'll write that. There's real potential. We met on so-and-so date at so-and-so time, and at the Starbucks at this location. Here's what we discussed. Here's what her questions were. Why did I do that? Because when I followed up with her, I'd have that sheet in front of me, because I wanted that follow-up to go quick, and I wanted to be concise. I wanted to be professional. More importantly, I know I only have 90 days. I can't afford to filly fart around with each and every person. So I send Marie after our first initial meeting, and she has questions. Say, well, Marie, you need to go to the website. They have all the ingredients about the product there. They have everything you need to know about the product. You can download brochures. You can call the company. They'll answer any questions about the product or line of products, okay? Why do I do that? Because I'm prospecting. My job is not to be the information center. That's the company's job. My job is to be what? A business builder. I told her I was, and if I'm lying, then guess what? I become an information center, and I'm training her that she's going to become an information center too. Now, this is not recruiting 101. What I'm telling you is that I'm filling this sheet out, and I'm doing this process, and I'm doing it even in the virus environment. I haven't changed a thing. The routine is the same. The reason why I'm telling you this, because this is what I did back then. This is what I would do today. No different. And if I do it on the teleconference software, I fill out that same form, Marie. I do the follow-up the same way. And when I do the follow-up, I say, Marie, I would say, you had 2 questions. I sent you to the website. Did you find the answers? And I would take control of that conversation, because I wanted it to be short, professional, and concise, so that when she hung up the phone or we got off the teleconference, she said, that guy, what's going to happen is my approach and my professionalism and my focus is going to reinforce what she initially thought about me as a business builder. She's going to, after that second, after the follow-up, our second meeting, she's going to say, you know what? I was right. That guy's focused. That guy is definitely on to something. He's serious. He is getting right to the point. He's not bull crapping around. Guys, when you do that, when you take control of the situation, even in today's environment, you're setting the pace. And she knows inherently when she joins Rob, well, you know what? I was kind of skeptical, but I'm going to join Rob because it's obvious he knows what he's doing. It's obvious he's committed. And you know what? He knows how to make this business go. I like his approach. He's professional, and he really makes this thing happen. And that can go a long way in her making that decision in your favor. Okay? And so, oh, that's too harsh, that's too mean, that's too quick. No, that's what professional business builders do. If you want to sit and cry and say, hey, that's not working, that's cruel, that's mean, that's a bad approach, guess what? Go ahead and good luck. You know what? Here's the thing. I was nice, I was professional, I was to the point. There's nothing wrong with that. So here's the thing. What I'm saying is, guys, you can do the exact same thing through this teleconferencing, even in the virus environment. We just talked about meeting at Starbucks. We're talking about the teleconferencing. You can do it over the phone to some degree, okay? But that would be the last thing I would do. I would not do that. And think about it. You can use your laptop, you can use your phone, you can use a tablet to do the follow-up, because all of those have an app that you can download. They have Zoom, right, that you can download on any of those devices. They even have desktop apps for certain software programs. Marie, did you have anything to add to that whole recruiting process there? I wanted to make sure that people understood that it's no different now than it is when there's not a virus.
Well, and that's exactly what we're getting at here, right? The fundamentals to building a successful business do not change, even though we're in this virus environment. We might need to tweak the way we work, leverage the technology a little bit more, maybe meet in person a little bit less. Obviously, we're not having the big events, the conventions aren't happening, even
Right.
those are being moved online. So you can still very much build a successful business. And I think the biggest mistake that I see people making right now in this environment is they get frozen by the uncertainty.
Yes.
They want to play the wait and see game. Well, I want to wait and see till, the status in my area goes green and we can meet again.
Yes.
You don't want to delay. It's one of those situations, and I don't know who originally said it, but never let a good crisis go to waste, right? Every issue and problem that comes up, there's opportunity there. And there's definitely opportunity here for building a successful network marketing business in this environment that you want to leverage now. You don't want to wait and see, because you'll be behind the people that are just steaming ahead right now.
Well,
because what we have going on really is people have perhaps more time because they're working from home. So guess what? They're not commuting. They pick up in a half hour to maybe 90 minutes a day that they could start leveraging towards their own business. People are recognizing the fact that being employed by a company, they don't have control necessarily of their career and future, and they're looking for something that they can leverage and take advantage of their own skills and abilities and get paid in an equitable manner. You have those out there who are looking for these home-based opportunities anyway. Well, now is an absolute ideal time, because what happens, even if we get to the green stage and we totally go back to normal, what if there is another wave that comes through and things get shut down again? You're in a perfect position. You already have the foundation laid. You're through the learning curve and off you go. And you share that with others. That's how you build the successful business.
I agree. And I want to add on to that, because she has nailed it. What she said, if you guys are listening to this our podcast, guys, you need to go back, rewind it, and listen to what she just said, because that's very powerful. And let me tag on to that. Number one, there are more people at home now than there ever has been. Number two, there's more stressed out people at home than there ever has been. Number three, during crisis, people look for control. People look for opportunities. Let me give you an example. When the towers were attacked, I turned to my partner at the time, Trey, which I won't mention his last name, obviously. And I said, Trey, this could have a major impact. And I certainly wasn't, like every American, I was shocked that we were being attacked on our own soil. But it wasn't, that was obviously a shocking moment. There's no doubt, especially being ex-military. But what was even more shocking is the shock wore off. I thought, well, what's this going to do to the economy, and what's this going to do to our business? Because we were on a roll. And so Trey and I talked about it. We had our own office, an own conference room, everything. We were really making this thing rock. And so I said, Trey, what do you suggest? What do you think needs to be the approach? Because everybody, when that happened, kind of just, clammed up a little bit. And of course they continued to go to work, but people weren't the same. People were kind of, and he said, Rob, we got to forge ahead. We can't let this, you know what? The strong people, the leaders of tomorrow are going to come out of this, and they're not going to stop. They're going to mourn like everybody else. They have feelings like most people. They're not inhuman. They're going to mourn in their own way, and they're going to be upset about what's happened, but they're not going to stop. And he wasn't just talking about network marketing. He was talking about in general. It didn't necessarily mean business. He meant that people were going to continue to build homes. People are going to continue to build office complexes. People were going to continue to start a new business. They weren't going to stop. And what he said is that this is the time when the real leaders are going to make an unbelievable amount of money, because everybody else is going to stand still and these guys are going to pass them right up. In the network marketing business model, here's what it means. Because of the virus today, I do what Marie said. I quarantine myself and I sit in the corner and suck my thumb and say, well, I ain't coming out until everybody says it's okay. I'm going to miss out on sponsor Marie. And what's going to happen is that when I do come out of hiding, I'm going to find out that Marie signed up with somebody else and built a great business. And she was the very next person I was going to talk to, but I didn't because I was waiting for approval to come out of hiding. Okay? Guys, don't do that. Be safe. Look, you still go to the grocery. You still put gas in your car. You're still going out and about. And guess what? You're still here. You haven't left this earth, which means you did the right things. You protected yourself. You can do it again, building this business or any business. Okay, we're not just talking necessarily about network marketing here. We are focusing on that because that is a more a business than most businesses. Okay, because you can still do business over the phone with certain companies. You know, people still make sales calls over the phone and blah 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 blah. I don't know why, but they do. But they are using teleconferencing more and more. And really, to be honest with you, large corporations pioneered Zoom and all that, and Skype and all that came into existence because companies were using teleconferencing, and entrepreneurs saw how that could be helpful to the everyday person as well. So the bottom line is that this is not new technology. It's proven technology. It does give you an uninterrupted environment that you have their total attention. And I'm telling you, there are more deals done and have been done over teleconferencing from the United States to Japan to Thailand to India. Instead of people flying, they will do a teleconference and they're sitting there in their business suits and they're conducting business at the conference tables, ironing out the details. And they will literally either FedEx overnight or they'll fax the documents to be signed to seal the deal. And it'll all be done in 2 or 3 days, and nobody ever left the comfort of their state or their home. Okay? If they can do it, you can do it too. What I'm telling you is this is a proven method of building a business. Matter of fact, I would encourage you to continue to use it even after the virus environment is safe. Okay? Why not? Why get in your car and drive around? Look, if I was out there active today, I would do both. I love meeting people. Meet them at Starbucks. I think Starbucks is a great environment to meet people, especially the younger people. They're very comfortable in Starbucks. I would meet them. I would meet them outside where I have their total undivided attention so they're not looking around at the people walking in the lobby. And you know what? I would use the teleconferencing as well, because in both cases, I have total attention. Okay. And I'll be honest with you, if I see somebody looking around doing this and that, I know they're not interested. And I say, well, it's obvious you're not interested. I'm sorry that we met and wasted your time. Thank you very much. And even if they, and you might say, oh, Rob, you're full of crap. Even if they say, oh, no, wait a minute. I'm gone. Because I know their first reaction is their real reaction. What they're trying to do is save face. I know human beings. I can read them like a book. I'm not accurate all the time, but I ain't stupid. I've been around this world a while. And the wife will come up to me someday and say, sometime like she did this morning, okay, I know you're really good at this. What's going on here? Okay. The bottom line is I can read people very well. If they're not paying attention, they're not interested, and that's fine. And as I told Marie before, I'm sure she was shocked. You know what? If a girl says, Rob, you're not my type, I'm like, cool, that's awesome. That's great, because it saves us both a bunch of crap from going through a bunch of crap and wasting our valuable time being around each other when we know it's not going to work. Well, guess what? Same thing in network marketing. Guys, you can walk away if they're looking around. Same thing with the teleconference. The great thing about teleconference, I can cut Marie out right now. Okay, Marie, you're done. Bam.
Oh, but you don't want to do that.
No, not at all. So there again, you have total control. Okay. I'll be honest with you. When we're doing this teleconference, Marie, I find myself looking at you more. It looks like I'm looking at the screen, but I'm actually looking at Marie. She has my total attention. And every once in a while, I'll break away and I'll look around and stuff because my dogs are licking my ankles or moving around or something, But you know what, Marie? I mean, we have each other's total undivided attention. There's very little that interferes with us looking at each other. And a lot of times I'm looking at Marie because I'm waiting for a signal. Shut up, Rob. Be quiet. Let me give it a word in.
Well, and here's something I want to add, and I think this will be of high value to a large number of our listeners. We're talking about building a successful business during the virus. One of the things that's absolutely critical to our business is finding high quality prospects and leads, right? So if you think about it, because of this virus, we have a prospect-rich environment we can be working in right now and reaching out to, because what's happened around the country and even around the world, because most companies are in multiple countries. It's not just the US. I tend to speak US because that's where I am, right? So I apologize for our international listeners, but this applies to you as well.
Exactly.
Things are being closed down. Beauty salons, barber shops, pet groomers, the dog walkers in the world. You have all sorts of people who have the inclination towards entrepreneurship right now being forced to the sidelines. They're not able to earn an income in their business of choice. And whatever you have to offer from a network marketing perspective could be a very good parallel business for them during these times, and even after things, quote unquote, go back to normal. So it's a prospect-rich environment that you should be taking advantage of right now, because a lot of those, I'll use salon owners as my example. A lot of those people, that is a full-time business. It gets their full attention. But right now, you have an opening. You have the ability to talk to them at a different level and offer an opportunity that can give them continuity in their income that they can't have with just their salon. And 6 months ago, they would have never realized that was the case. Today, their life has been totally disrupted, and you can come in and provide a solution of high value that benefits both you and them.
Right. And and here's the thing. On top of that is, guys, you have to realize that there are people out there that are getting unemployment, and it's above and beyond what they ever made before. A lot of people are making more money now on unemployment than they were when they were working. Now, I don't agree with that, but at the same time, I'm glad they did it because people are hurting, and I certainly don't want people to suffer. But the bottom line is this, guys: people have the money now to join a network marketing company, and they have the time. As she said, there's a perfect storm here. You got to look beyond, and I don't want to use, to me, the virus is a major hiccup, no doubt, but it's not doom and gloom. The world's not going to come to an end, and, we're not going to have 300 million people in the U.S. die out of 330 million. The bottom line is it's something that we have to deal with. It's something that will pass. It's something that will get under control. It's sad that we all have to go through it. It's even sadder that people lose loved ones to this virus. But it's sad that people lose loved ones every day from various things, even natural causes. It's a sad day when anybody loses a loved one for any reason. But you can't let life stand still. You have to keep moving forward. And for those of you that will listen to our message and understand that we have human sensitivity for our fellow human beings when we're talking about this. This is not about all business. It's the reason why we're talking about the virus. We recognize and realize the virus is real. We realize it's a danger to people. We realize that you have to be cautious, but we also realize that you can't be frozen in your tracks. Okay? If you have momentum going in your business, you can't stop. Okay? You just have to go about it differently. That's the reason why we're doing this episode. And I'm sure we're going to do more episodes on this because this is what it is today. And I don't know anybody else that's addressing this virus issue in the business environment that we're in. You can't let this stop you. You have to be cautious. We've talked about what you got to do. Look, I rarely wear a mask. I tell you, I'm not anti-mask. I do, if a company asks me to wear a mask, like if I go into Starbucks and they have a sign, I comply if I want to go in. Okay. I don't agree with it, but I will comply. I'm not anti-mask. I'm not being a pain in the butt. But at the same time, if I don't have to wear a mask, I ain't wearing a mask. But I am going to maintain my distance of at least 3 feet to 6 feet if I can do it. Okay. And if I talk to somebody, I talk to them from the side instead of head on. Okay. So I'm doing, and I sanitize all the time. Well, I can do those same things by building a business. Okay. We're talking about being safe and using common sense and not being stuck right now in your tracks, stopping your business into something that you may never recover from. We want you to continue to move forward and do so safely, and we're addressing the issues that need to be addressed. And we're telling you the different ways that you can build this business, even in this environment, even if you don't feel comfortable going out. Okay. Maria, I really can't think of any other technology that they could use. I mean, it's down. I mean, you can use your mobile devices, no doubt about it. Let's put them in order. Number one, if you can meet in person, definitely do that. If you feel comfortable and you can do that. But here's the thing, if there was no virus, driving all over town or driving in different neighboring states to meet prospects in person can be very labor intensive, very costly, very time intensive, and something you never get back is your time. Professional business builders understand that urgency and speed is critical to creating momentum. So if you're driving around to your neighboring states, meeting people at Starbucks, and even if you meet 10 people a day, it's going to be very tough. We would encourage you to use technology even without the virus environment. Why? Because it speeds up the process. Not only can you get a constant source of high quality leads, but you can follow up with them. You can meet them the first time with webinar software, with Zoom, with Skype. People love using technology. People are crunched for time, and they'll be tickled pink that you're using technology, and they're going to learn that if they decide to join you, they'll learn firsthand. Hey, Marie sponsored me by using Skype, and it worked beautifully. Marie sponsored me by using Zoom, and it worked great. Marie used her cell phone or her tablet. We were both on the go. Marie was driving down the road. She's on a trip. You know what? Her husband's driving, and we're doing a video conference with her phone right there. Okay. The point is, Marie will see how Rob conducted his business and say to herself, I can do that. That's powerful because I can see how I will not have to stop what I'm doing in my life, but I can leverage technology to build my business quickly. That's the key word, quickly. So even though the virus environment is forcing you to use technology, I would encourage you, when the virus environment is safe for everybody, to continue, because it's going to put you miles ahead of your competitors and your peers. And yes, those are two different things. Sometimes they're the same, but they're two different things, I promise you. Because you realize Marie's in company A and Rob's in company B, and we're going after the same high quality people. Our paths will cross. We may never see each other in person, but we may contact the same prospects, because I live in Utah and she lives in Utah. I don't, but that's not the point. Okay. The point is that we are targeting the same people, the same type of people. And there's a chance that our paths could cross. My goal is to get there before she does, because I want those people in my business. I don't want them in hers. Make sense, Marie?
Yes, absolutely. I think you covered that very, very well. Mm-hmm.
So you got to realize, guys, that number one, let's look at the fact you want to use person to person. I want to finish that point. Number two, you want to use technology with Zoom, Skype, webinar, et cetera, et cetera. Three is the last one, and that's the cell phone. Because of the scamming and the robocalls, you fall in that category, whether you like it or not. That's what's going to happen. Okay. So if you have a lead generation system online that's producing leads, and you email them or you contact them by text, however you initially contact them, the initial contact, let them know that you prefer to use Zoom, Skype, webinar software, YouTube, whatever the case may be, whatever technology you choose to do a follow-up or do the initial meeting, the face-to-face. Okay. I would only do live meetings if it's local in Louisville, Kentucky. I know my way around the town. It's easy to get around. I'm willing to do that. If I was active today, that's what I would do. But if they're more than 30 miles outside of the city, if they're in another state, guess what? It's all technology, period. So, Maria, I think we covered everything. That's the reason why I recap, because I can't think of any other technology, to be honest with you. Of course, there's TikTok. You guys can use whatever, Snapchat. We just didn't bring those up because, to be honest with you, I don't know their limitations. I don't know what you can and cannot do on those. So we're endorsing the ones that we know work and are stable and have a lot of features to them.
Well, and obviously find the platform that works for you. Some people have great success on Pinterest. Other people struggle. LinkedIn is maybe your arena where you want to work. Find what works for you. The key is to take action and build your business, even though we're in this virus environment.
Yes, there it is right there. That's the essence of the whole show, is what she said right there. Do not stop. Build a business in this environment. You're going to be so glad that you did, because now's the time. It's proven, long history of the network marketing industry exploding during crisis moments in our country. Okay. And it doesn't have to be something like the virus. It doesn't have to be the Twin Towers. That's not what I'm saying, although those are part of it. What I'm saying is, even in uncertain times, even when interest rates are high and unemployment is high, jobs are scarce, whatever, the bottom line is, when there's a crisis in our country, people turn to other things. They want to get control of their life so that they don't have to face these uncertainties again. Whether it's open up their own business, whether it's open up a handyman business and servicing others that way, whether it's starting a business from scratch where you're building something physical and selling it, whatever the case may be, guys, people start businesses and opportunities during crisis moments. And network marketing has benefited from that greatly, greatly. If you remember, Marie, in the 2006, 2007 crash, if you want to use that term, Amway, a lot of the network marketing companies, especially Amway and a few others, were advertising. They had advertising commercials on TV. Do you remember that?
I do. Yep. When we had that recession, that was like 2007, 2008, I want to say.
It was either 2006 to 8, whatever. It was somewhere in that time frame. But the point is, folks, why did they do that? Because history showed them that during crisis moments, people turned to network marketing in droves. And people became rich off of that. Why? Because they were ready to accept the masses and the attention, and they didn't stop building. They saw an opportunity to help other people. Oh, it's taking advantage of people. No, it's not. If you're reaching out and you know what you're doing and you know how to build a business, guess what? You're reaching out and you're helping that individual, okay? You're saying, hey, I know you're struggling. I know it's tough out there. Hey, let me help you. I'll show you how to make this business work for you. And how many people ended up being long-term members of the network marketing companies? In other words, long-time distributors. Some of those people, I'm sure, became millionaires by taking action during that moment. And guess what? It's no different now, guys. Do not stop. You're missing out on a great opportunity to help other people, and in the process, help yourself. This could be a great boom for everyone involved. Would you agree, Mary?
I do. And it's an opportunity to not only build your business, but to help your team and your organization build their businesses as well. You want to lead by example.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Mary, I think we covered everything. The bottom line is, guys, we wanted to give you confidence to move forward, to not stop, do not crawl up in the corner and suck your thumb. Okay. Get out there, be as active as ever. And matter of fact, I encourage you to be more active. If you do, you're going to be amazed at the results you're going to get. And as we close, as always, remember that if you have a business building system that's not producing the results you want in the time frame that you want, we have that 5 simple steps to networking success. Let me put that on the screen so that you can see what it looks like. Guys, you got to keep this business simple. All right. There it is right there. 5 simple steps to networking success. These steps are based on the fundamental principles of the business building process. It's something you can trust. We don't endorse them. We don't brag about them. I mean, we do endorse them. But what I'm saying is, you're not going to hear us give a professional endorsement of them. You're not going to hear us give them overhype. You're not going to hear us talk about them all the time. And we're certainly not going to use fake testimonials for people you don't know. Why? Because the results that these 5 things produce since the 1960s speak for themselves. They have produced countless millionaires over the years. They have produced success at every level of network marketing. Why? Because they freaking work. They don't need endorsement from her and I. We don't need to brag about them all the time. We don't need to falsely endorse them all the time. Okay? We don't hardly ever talk about them. Why? Because they freaking work. We have total confidence in them. And Marie knows that. She knows they're based in the basics. You got to talk to people. You got to do a 90-day mini blast if you want to create momentum. You have to have a constant source of leads. You have to find and work with leaders. What are you going to change there? That's the essence of the business. There's nothing there that you can leave out. If you do, you're not going to make it. Okay? So the bottom line, if you don't talk to people, you're not going to build a business, right, Marie?
Absolutely.
It's hard to do.
The fundamentals never change. The tools do. The times do, but the fundamentals remain the same.
You have to talk to people, right? Because you can't build a business without talking to people, right? You can't build a business without leads, right, Marie?
Yep.
The leads are known as the lifeblood of the network marketing. You have to have them. You can't create momentum without a 90-day mini blast. I don't care how hard you try. You can't do it. Okay? So what are you going to take out? They're self-evident. They don't need our endorsement. They are self-evident. You know they're true. You know they're real. The bottom line is they've been around since the inception of the business. They're not going to change. As she said, if this business is around another 1,000 years, guess what? The 5 simple steps will always be there. And you can master them in one day. The only thing you got to work with on mastering is the message to get it right, because it's critical to your success to attracting high quality leads to you. Okay? And the only way, I went through years of refining that and developing that and using the right words. Guess what? We've got it for you. All you got to do is memorize it and make it your own. You got to memorize it, which I did. I used to walk around the house and when I had quiet moments, saying it out loud over and over and over and over. Why did I do that? Because I needed to own it. I needed the words to flow off of my lips, not to entice people, not to use the words to put a spell on them, because guess what? To instill confidence and for me to get the message correct and get that message, because I know that I got to be short and concise. The message has to be short and concise. They don't want information thrown all over them. They want people to tell them the truth and tell it quickly and get to the point. Everybody appreciates that. When you talk more, your credibility goes down. When you talk less, your credibility stays high. Okay? When you say, hey, yes, you give it a yes to a question, people are like, okay. And then when you say no, they're like, okay. But if you elaborate and drag it out and go into every detail, guess what? Your credibility goes down. There's a reason why Marie always says, Rob, watch me. I'll stop you talking. I'm kidding. I'm messing around. We try to get as much information to you as quickly as possible. That's the reason why you catch me on a rant every once in a while. But the point is that we want to make sure while we have your attention that we give you the basics of the industry so you walk away more powerful and empowered than any of your competitors and peers. So that way you have a huge advantage because you know how to build the business. The point is, if you don't know where to go, your business building system's not working, your leadership's not helping you out, and you have this golden moment in time where you can really tap in to this environment and make a tremendous progress in a short amount of time, guys, you can't afford to be using a system that's not working and producing the results in a timely manner. Right, Marie?
Absolutely. That's the key right there.
Yes. So don't hesitate. It's your business. It's your future. If you're not getting the results you want in the time frame, and if you're not sure, get with us. We'll even talk to you in person in a conference call like this and answer your questions. We don't blame you for having questions. And you know what? You should be skeptical of us as well. We're not going to ask for blind faith. We ask you to investigate the 5 simple steps. Get the daggone book and stuff and look at them, and you'll see what we're talking about. We don't want blind faith. We don't want you to just jump from one to the other. If you have questions, we're open to questions and we're comfortable with that. Why? Because we believe in what we have. We know they're the basics. We know that the truth never changes. As I tell people all the time, you know what? It can be redundant listening to us sometimes because guess what? We tell the same story a lot of times over and over because the truth never changes. If it does, it's a lie. Right, Marie?
Absolutely. But we do try to put a little bit of a different spin on it, be a little bit more entertaining, but
Yes.
the fundamentals are what they are.
That's right. Exactly. All right. So we had a great episode today. Remember, we're here for you guys. Don't ever forget that. We know these are trying times. Do not give up on yourself, your dreams, your goals, or your business, guys. Don't do it. You're making a huge mistake if you do. Take advantage of these times and make something special. Remember, network marketing is about helping other people before you help yourself. If you are going to utilize what we bring to the table and you utilize it to help other people, there is no limit in today's environment what you can accomplish. And the reason Marie and I don't go back into business in an environment like this, because we can have a bigger impact by helping people across the world by sharing this information. Is if we're going to go out and build a business today, we're actually being selfish because we can only help a certain amount of people. This way we can reach out and help people all across the world. And that is powerful and that excites us. And that's the reason why we're doing this, is so that you guys have the ability, unlike ourselves in today's world, to tap into knowledge and experience that's timeless. And this has never been available before. Marie, you and I have never seen this when we were in the industry. Nobody shared this type of information with people.
Oh, this would have saved me years of heartache.
Oh, yeah, me too. Absolutely. Absolutely. And there's a lot of people. In closing, I will tell you, Marie, people that bought the What Not to Do a Network Marketing book and the program, the whole program, you know what they said? They said, and I got it all the time. They say, Rob, if I'd have bought this book, I'd probably still be in the business. And I said, well, thank you for buying the book and the materials. I said, but it's sad to hear that, that you missed out on such a great opportunity. And they said, yeah, I really look back and I really feel that I could have done something special with this information. It's powerful. I've had other people say, Rob, you know what? This would have saved me so much heartache, so much pain, and saved me years on building a successful business. And once again, it does my heart good. On the other side, it's sad. Folks, don't fall in that category. Don't be one of those people that catch Marie and I out on the streets and say, hey, man, I wish I'd have done this stuff, years ago, because man, I'd be miles ahead of where I am now. Guys, we want you to tap into this knowledge now. It's the reason why we provide it. All right, Miss Marie, I'm done talking about all the subject matter and all this and that. It's time for us to call it a day. And tomorrow, Miss Marie is gone. You guys only have me. I don't know if I can do it.
I have total faith in you, Rob. I'm sure you'll be just fine and provide some great value as you always do.
Well, we both bring great value to the table, but thank you. That's flattering. But yeah, it'll be a little bit different without her. We're definitely developing a bond here. This is only our third week, or actually 2.5 weeks now. And I think we're doing very well. We continue to get better, and we hope that you guys enjoy both of us being here. As you know, I went on this journey looking for someone because I knew that my presence alone was not going to be enough. I'm not entertaining enough, and I don't have enough stories. Or maybe I do, and I just don't want to tell them. Maybe that's what it is. But anyway, it's great having you on board. I'm excited about the future, and good luck and be safe on your journey. I hope that you enjoy it, and you guys are safe when you come back safely, obviously, and protect yourselves.
Yep, I look forward to it, and I'll look forward to being back with you again on Monday.
Monday, yep. As you guys know, tomorrow we will have another episode, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please share our show with our fellow network marketers across the world. When you do, the world becomes a better place, and you help our fellow man and woman, and that's what we want, is help others, right? Through this business model. Additionally, please share our our program with other people. You know what? When you do, it helps us reach out across the world. There it is on the screen. If you will, please share, like, and comment on our various social media platforms. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel and register for notifications too, if you will, please. Remember, this is a give and take world. The point is, we are giving. We would love for you guys to help us give. And you can do that by sharing our content and our platforms with other fellow network marketers. We appreciate that in advance and say thank you in advance. Also, don't forget the MLMsolution.net is the website. Please visit there. I appreciate everyone that is visiting. I'm very grateful for the traffic that comes there and the activity. Believe me, it's greatly appreciated. We love it when you guys appreciate our efforts in helping you guys out. Additionally, if you're going to find us on social media platforms, you can use the hashtag TheMLM-Solution, hashtag TheMLM-Solution. That will help you find us very quickly. And during the broadcast, if you will, we love it if you give us a thumbs up. If you like what you hear and if you feel that the content is going to help you, that is always great for us to see. Miss Marie, do you have any closing comments?
I do not, other than if you're in the business, stick with it, keep moving forward. If you're sitting on the fence, now's the time. Take advantage, do it.
That's right. And we're here for you. All right, we're going to close out in the way that we always do.
Thank you for listening to the MLM Solution Podcast. For more info, visit our website, TheMLM-Solution.net. Please follow us on the following platforms: Facebook, YouTube, etc. And share this podcast with our fellow network marketers around the world by hitting the share button on our various platforms.